Hi, and welcome to this video. Today I wanted to share some of my favorite tips for how to use the library to motivate your child to learn how to read and to love books. And before I jump into the specifics of how to use the library, I want to start just with encouragement to start going to the library as a family on a regular basis and make this a part of your routine. There's been scientific research that has shown that giving your child access on a regular basis to new books that they can read and that they're interested in reading is a really great way to motivate your child to love books. And so going to the library on a regular basis is a really easy way to accomplish this. If you just start a routine of maybe we go every week on Tuesdays, or maybe we go twice a month, the beginning of the month in the middle, just having that kind of a routine and schedule that your kids know to expect can be really helpful to them in terms of being able to get new books and just to start to really enjoy the process of going to the library. So I wanted to share 3 tips today that we use in our family to help make our trips to the library a lot of fun and to help us be able to find books that my kids are excited to read. First of all, it's really helpful to have a list of authors and series and books that your kids like so that when you get to the library, you know what to look for. I have a running list for each of my children that just lists some of their favorite series and the author's last name for those books. So for my daughter, it's picture books like Pete the Cat, those kinds of things. And then for my son, we have some chapter book series that we look for every time we go. We've gotten to the point where we can recognize where in the library these books are going to be, and my children can find the books pretty independently on their own, but it's still really helpful to have a list of authors just to help jog your memory of what kinds of books to look for once you get there. If you're not sure where to start with creating a book list, there are lots of really great book lists available online. I will link to a blog post that I have with book lists that are organized by grade from preschool all the way through 12th grade so that you'll have a starting point for choosing some books for your child. The second tip for going to the library is that you want to talk with your children in advance about what kinds of topics they'd like to study or what sort of books they might be interested in finding. For my kids, we have a second list along with our list of favorite series and authors. We have a second list of topics that they want to study. So when my kids have those topics of conversation where they're asking all those questions about why is this, what is this, why is this, then those topics get added to our library list. And then when we get to the library, we know what kinds of books we want to look for more information about. The last time that we went to the library, we knew that we were interested in bruises because my daughter had gotten a bruise the week before, and she wanted to understand why the bruise was and how bruises happen and why our body gets bruises and all these questions about bruises. And so I wrote that down on our list, and then when we went to the library, we were able to go to the human body section and find some books about injuries and about how our blood circulates and just different books to help her satisfy that curiosity that she had. So asking your child in advance what it is that they want to study can be a really helpful way to direct your time at the library and just to give you some input on what kinds of books you might look for and what kinds of topics your child might be interested in reading about. And again, you want to keep a running list here so that when you get to the library, you will know what to look for. The final thing that can be really helpful about using the library is to start to teach your child where the books are located, how they're organized, and how to find books on their own. So you want to teach your child things like alphabetical order and also the Dewey Decimal System so that they can start to look for the books that they're interested in independently. And for a younger child, that might look like showing them where the section is for the topic that they're interested in. My son has always been very interested in different kinds of trucks. And so from the time when he was very little, he knew where down which aisle he needed to go and where on the shelf the truck books were going to be. He knew they were in the second aisle on the right-hand side in the middle shelf. And so even before he understood the Dewey Decimal System, he was able to go and find those books that he was interested in, and he knew right where that section was because we went there every time we went to the library. With a slightly older child, you can start to introduce them to the alphabetical order and the Dewey Decimal System and help them to be able to use that information to find the specific books on the shelf. And then as your child gets older, you can start to introduce the computer and the card catalog and showing them how to look up a book or a topic that they're interested in to find out the Dewey Decimal number for that topic. So all of those are skills that will help your child be able to find books in the library on their own and to help to be able to raise an adult who is able to go to the library independently and take advantage of the resources that it has to offer. So hopefully these tips were helpful to you as you plan your next trip to the library. Please feel free to share your favorite tip for the library in the comments below.